Good day, all, and thank you for joining our session. I think this will be the fifth session. So, if you're just joining us, please try to watch the previous video on this particular topic, CHCAGE011, which is providing support to people living with dementia. Today, we are going to be starting, of course, with identifying the person, remnants, and routine to provide the preferred and pleasurable experience. This is very, very important as care workers or support worker to identify what is it that our client really enjoys. You can get those information from their carers, family members, or even themselves in order to understand how best to support them. A person with dementia may often talk about their favorite memories of the past, and they can even use this to get to know the person better. So this can cater for activity that the person prefer. Then they will most likely enjoy them when we set this kind of activities up for them. So to provide pleasurable experience, we are expect to consider our client's likes and dislike. What is it that they like and doing? What is it that they enjoy doing? So once we put this in place, then we can be rest assured that they will be happy with us in order to support them. When, of course, we are doing this, there will be a lot of risk associated with providing this particular support. So in that area, we should know that they have the right, of course, to take some risks as well. This is assist the person to maintain their dignity of risk while we are balancing the duty of care of looking after them to make the right choice. Dignity of risk is accepting that older person can, of course, make choice that it's likely to acknowledge their choice that comes with possible risk. As a care worker, you have the responsibility to ensure that the right is upheld, and the aged care quality standard also stated that care provider must respect an older person's choice. So when you are supporting or when you are providing the preference that your client needs, it is likely to come in with some risk. So your duty now is to review those risks and see how best you can mitigate the risk and reduce the risk while they actually enjoy those activities that they love to do. So it is our duty of care and our obligation to ensure that we provide this level of understanding and support to our clients. So part of our duty of care as an aged care worker is providing a safe and high quality service, treating people with dignity and respect, informing people about their care, helping people to maintain independence, preventing any form of abuse or neglect, giving the person control over their decisions, listening to the person's opinion, and of course listening to their feedback and attend to it appropriately, protecting the person's privacy, and these are some of what we are expected to do in line with our duty of care. While if we are thinking about the dignity of risk, this means you still give the person the choice to take the risk about those decisions. To do this, we need to identify the person's choice, assess the risk involved in that particular choice they are intending to make, and we should find a way to reduce that particular risk while we don't stop them from engaging or even achieving their goal or their interest on what they really want to do. while we are doing or when we are supporting them in this area, some of the things that can help us to reduce the risk can involve supporting the person using assistive technology. That is, we can use technology to provide or to mitigate any form of risk that we are likely to uh, face in that area. Assistive technology refer to product use to help individual perform certain tasks. People with dementia can use assistive technology to help them in activities, and this technology allows them to continue to do these things in their own way, while it reduce or even mitigate of uh, any risk associated with that particular activities. Um, Cognition means the ability to understand and learn. Below are the assistive technology that help with cognition and memory loss. Don't forget, we said people with dementia, they actually suffer from memory loss, and as things goes on, or as we age, it actually reduces, as in it really gets worsened. So we can have this assistive technology that helps with memory aid, predictive text software, noise cancelling earphone. All this can be some of the assistive technology that we can use to support our clients on their day-to-day activities. Other than that, we should educate and employment. Education and employment can also be a way of supporting people with dementia. People with dementia, they still want to work or take classes. We don't say because they are having issues with their memory or even with their brain, they should not be given this opportunity. And if they are the type that wish and willing to do that, below are some assistive technology that we can use in supporting them in achieving this goal. One of them is furniture design for comfort and safety. Instead of them going to the workshop and using hammers and saw or things like that, there can be a software that can assist them in designing whatever landscape or whatever platform they are intending to come up with. They can also use smartboard in designing whatever they think it's meets up with their need. Below are some assistive technology also that helps with daily living activities. One of them is adaptive cleaning tools. Like if they are showering now, there are some assistive technology tool that you can use to rub your back or even pick up soap or um, sponge from the floor, either instead of you bending that might of course lead to accident. All these assistive technology will be put in place. Most of the time the assessment will be carried out by the clinical team as well as some of allied health professionals to identify what are those assistive technology that will help you in your day-to-day activities. As a person loses their mobility, eating and drinking become more difficult. So below are some assistive technology also that helps with eating and drinking. One of them is utensils holder. This it's a form of assistive technology that help uh, people with dementia to be able to hold spoons, fork, and the rest while they want to eat their food. They can use this assistive plate and bowl. Assistive plate and bowl is a form that is carved in a way that food will remain, food will be easy, you can easily scoop the food up from the plate. Uh, Feeding tube can also be used for people that cannot really eat from their mouth or chew, or they have issues uh, with their digestive system. So instead of it going through the mouth, it just go straight into their stomach. Some of them, they call it peg feeding, depending on what is actually going on in someone's life. All this assistive technology is there in order to support them. Also, you can use hearing aids. Most of the time, someone that has lost their hearing, they can rely on this particular aid to be able to communicate and understand what we are saying. Implementing strategies to reduce likelihood of negative outcome. After identifying strategies, you should also know how to implement them safely to help preventing any adverse outcome from this dementia or from people having dementia issue. It will also help prevent diverse outcome for yourself as well as others. When implementing strategies, you may follow the following situation. Assess the situation, identify the exact strategies that you can use to assist your client, either to determine the type of technology that will make them feel much safe. Once you identify this, of course, as a care worker, we don't have that capacity to make decisions. Take action to report to your supervisor, and they will be the one to review and determine how to go from there. Sometimes if your client is not happy or they are going through some challenging time, there is restrictive practice that can be employed. This, of course, it's not what we do as carer, but we can rightly inform our supervisor to do this. So restrictive practice are intervention that limits person's movement and that actually limit the person from injuring themselves or injuring others. There are different types of restrictive practice. We have the physical restraint, we have chemical restraint, environmental restraint, mechanical restraint, and seclusion. All these restraints, for example of physical restraint is limiting the person to a particular environment. Chemical restraint can be medication of substance to calm the person down if you use different medication to get your client to calm down. While environmental restraint might be limiting them to access some part of the environment, while using mechanical restraint is using a device to limit the person's movement. For example, if you are using lap belt or if you are using some different type of chairs, that when they sit down in it, it becomes so hard for them to even get up. So those are examples of mechanical restraint. So restraint practice can only be used when you have tried all other means to prevent them from harming themselves, and you've considered all the risk that can also come along in that situation. So the person or their advocate have also given their consent, and it is in a situation of absolute emergency, not that you just think, oh, Mr. B is not doing the right thing. Instead of you going there to really understand and support them, the next thing is to advise for medical restraint. That is not good, and that is not best practice. So we should always follow this best practice. It is in the best interest of the client themselves, and there is expert presentation or expert present to ensure safety. So these are the things that we need to think about and put in place before there is any restrictive practice support or restrictive practice in place for any particular client. There is different regulation requirements that needs to be upheld and that needs to be followed when we are supporting clients and when we are providing restrictive practice. The NDIS regulatory applies to other people who are under the NDIS also. There are type of restricted practice in table on the previous pages. So as an aged care provider, we must meet some condition that before we can start or before we can think of using restrictive practice. This condition include getting authorization from relevant state and territory. 2. Providing proof of authorization. 3. Develop a behavior support plan which cover the use of restrictive practice. Launch provider. Each provider will have policies and procedure in place as well to support this restricted practice, and this must be in line with legislation and discussion above. You must know the policies and procedure of your organization or your workplace, and this will guide you on what to do if in any case you are needed to put in place a restrictive practice. Restrictive practice, of course, help to reduce stress and lessen any likelihood of restrictive practice. And if you cannot avoid restrictive practice, of course, you need to follow, or you need to make sure your policy put in place, minimizing controlling the bodies or as much as possible. This means using restrict that will prevent them from moving. Talk them through what you are intending to do. That is, inform them your intention step by step. If you want to use restrictive practice, let them know what you're going to be doing. Use gentle method. That is, do not use excessive force with them, and any use of restrictive practice must still uphold the person's dignity. Before using restrictive practice, we must consider the following. Is it demeaning or humiliating? If it is, we should find a way to remove such. Even we should not even do anything that's going to be demeaning or humiliating the person, even when we are practicing or when we are using restrictive practice. Does it involve intimidation? Does it deny the person their basic rights? Will it cause the person further distress in any way? And you must document any use of restrictive practice to other person. This is where we are going to be calling it a day today. And I say thank you again for your time. Till next time, remain blessed. Thank you. Bye for now.